Beating the butt on your own. Terms and conditions legal notice. The publisher has strived to be as accurate and complete as possible in the creation of this report, notwithstanding the fact that he does not warrant or represent at any time that the contents within are accurate due to the rapidly changing nature of the Internet. While all attempts have been made to verify information provided in this publication, the publisher assumes no responsibility for errors, omissions, or contrary interpretation of the subject matter herein. Any perceived slights of specific persons, peoples, or organizations are unintentional. In practical advice books, like anything else in life, there are no guarantees of income made. Readers are cautioned to rely on their own judgment about their individual circumstances to act accordingly. This book is not intended for use as a source of legal, business, accounting, or financial advice. All readers are advised to seek services of competent professionals in legal, business, accounting, and finance fields. You are encouraged to print this book for easy reading. Table of Contents. Foreword. Chapter 1, Beating Nicotine Basics. Chapter 2, Nicotine Replacements. Chapter 3, Using Self-Hypnosis. Chapter 4, Using Support Groups. Chapter 5, Using Nutrition. Chapter 6, The Importance of Quitting Smoking. Today. Wrapping up. Foreword. Being an arguably difficult addiction to overcome, the individual would need to have all the necessary tools available to help in the quest to overcome this addiction successfully and permanently. Get all the info you need here. Beating the butt on your own. Important info on nicotine self-treatment. Chapter 1, Beating Nicotine Basics. Synopsis. Being an arguably difficult addiction to overcome, the individual would need to have all the necessary tools available to help in the quest to overcome this addiction successfully and permanently. The basics. One should understand the connection between the brain and the body and the way it clings onto the addiction, as it will help to further strengthen the resolve to beat the addiction. It is without a doubt that a person will not be able to quit smoking overnight, but there are some ways to either try cutting down with the eventual goal of quitting in mind, or to simply choose options that are the lesser of two evils. Some experts would recommend starting with switching to non-commercial brand cigarettes, as these do not contain additives that the regular commercial ones are touted to contain. These chemicals could run into combinations of as much as 4,000 different chemicals. Another element to be aware of when it comes to the habit of smoking would be the reason it has become rather habitual. Looking into the trigger point that causes the individual to seek out a cigarette may eventually help the individual to control the situation and eliminate the trigger point, which will eventually decrease the need to turn to a cigarette for relief. Peer pressure could also be a very significant contributor to the idea of smoking, in turn making it rather hard to beat. Making the effort to consciously avoid situations where smoking is acceptable and even expected would be a good start. Chapter 2, Nicotine Replacements. Synopsis. There are several different ways that can be tried in the quest to stop smoking and in turn stop the nicotine dependency. These would include several different ways that one should explore where there is a platform that allow the individual to seek suitable replacements for the nicotine habit. Substitutes. The following are some tried and true methods that are often recommended for nicotine replacement exercises. Nicotine gum. This is a type of over-the-counter remedy that is the most popular choice for first-time attempts to beat the nicotine dependency. It is usually available at any local pharmacy and does not need a doctor's prescription. The gum, when chewed, will allow the nicotine to be absorbed into the body without the individual having to resort to the act of smoking. However, this method should only be used for a period of not more than 6 months. Nicotine patch is another type of medication that can be applied to the skin each day with the intention of curbing the need to light up a cigarette for the nicotine fix. The milder brands do not require a doctor's prescription, while the more potent one would certainly require some medical recommendation and sometimes even intervention. Bupropion hydrochloride. These are pills that do not actually contain any nicotine but are used to combat the nicotine cravings. It is usually used with the direction of a medical professional, who in turn monitors the progress of the individual choosing this method of nicotine replacement. Using NRT is also another option to explore in the quest to find a suitable nicotine replacement. The nicotine medication contains such negligible amounts of the negative substance that it very rarely eventually becomes an addiction, thus effectively allowing the individual another alternative until the nicotine craving is no longer evident. Chapter 3. Using self-hypnosis synopsis. Some people have successfully chosen to use self-hypnosis as a way to overcome the nicotine addiction. However, it should be noted that nicotine replacement therapy does not necessarily work for everyone, but it does have a rather impressive track record. Self-hypnosis is widely recognized as an effective way of helping addicts to stop smoking. Using hypnosis. The action of self-hypnosis is actually the act of allowing the mind to focus on the activity of smoking. The mind will go into a state where the hypnotic platform established will be influenced by the incoming stimuli, which is kept consistent. The mind will have to readjust the current thought process that accepts smoking as normal and a seemingly uneventful and natural act, to another mindset that encourages the thought of revulsion and total disinterest in such as activity. The hypnotic influence the self-hypnosis would have to create would be that there is no longer a need to be influenced and directed to smoke every time the urge to do so takes over the person's thought process. The daily elements the mind is fed with in terms of the acceptability of the smoking addiction can be expanded and contracted within the boundaries of the mind until they change the thought process either for better or worse. Thus, there is every possibility of creating a positive influence which will extend to the mind rejecting the need to smoke or have the nicotine addiction as part of the daily life cycle of the individual. There are a lot of self-hypnosis methods and books available for the individual to explore, but the main idea would be to ensure the hypnosis is to be the focus of firmly changing the behavior into a more positive one. Chapter 4. Using support groups synopsis. Although smoking is considered basically an individual act, trying to stop the habit would almost always require the help of outside influences and participation. One of the more productive ways of getting the individual on the right track to quitting this negative habit would be to get the support of a group focused on the same agendas. Using groups. There are many support groups that are formed to help those in need of such group reinforcement to kick the smoking habit. These groups are usually experienced in handling all the various aspects that the individual would eventually encounter through the process of trying to kick the habit. The support given could range anywhere from simple being there to listen to helping the individual through the craving and severe withdrawal symptoms when attacked. Most people find that the support given is very helpful as it comes from people who have been through the same experience and have come out of it successfully. This is certainly better than having to listen to people who have never been through the same challenge, thus are not really able to relate to the situation in a primal manner. The members of the group are usually more than willing to reach out to each other and provide the much needed support at the time it is most desperately needed. The platform facilitated to be able to talk about the problem openly without the pressure of having to endure unnecessary criticism and accusations, allows those seeking conform and strength to kick the habit to find it here. Being able to talk about the struggles and very real feelings is a very powerful tool to help get the individual through the initial stages of attempting to kick the habit. The information extended within the group sessions can also be rather invaluable to the participants. Chapter 5. Using nutrition synopsis. A lot of nutritionists believe that with it is possible to use a balanced and complete diet plan to help combat the need for the body to seek what it lacks in the form or smoking or nicotine addiction. Food. The general perception would be that if the body is satisfied with all the proper vitamins, minerals and nutrients, then the craving for other outside negative elements such as nicotine would not be needed to complete the individual both mentally and physically. Adequate nutritional intake will help to minimize depression and other negative feelings such as being anxious, tired, overexcited and any other abnormal behavioral patterns, thus adequately eliminating the need for the individual to turn to smoking as a quick fix when things are not going smoothly. In some cases, the nicotine will further enhance these negative feelings rather than help to minimize them. When a person is ready to make the necessary changes towards a better nutritionally balanced diet plan, the body and mind will be further strengthened, and this will allow for the natural detoxification pathways to allow all the toxins within the body to dissipate accordingly. Thus the individual would be wary of disturbing this ideal scenario with the smoking habit. Having a healthy diet plan in place will also help the body to work towards detoxifying the body and eliminating all the negative buildups within body due to the smoking habit. Using nutrition as a combat tool for smoking is also possible, as the healthy body conditions will keep the individual strong and alert, thus facilitating the mental and physical machinery to ensure adequate willpower is in place to help the individual quit the smoking habit in a consistent and healthy way. A low-carb diet is usually recommended as the best choice for helping the individual beat the nicotine habit. Chapter 6: The Importance of Quitting Smoking. Today synopsis: there are only benefits when one quits smoking altogether. They are: benefits financial. Assuming a pack of cigarettes cost $5. Most smokers smoke an average of 10 sticks a day. That means the average smoker needs to have 3.5 packs a week or 14 packs a month. If one pack costs $5, then the cost of smoking per month is $70. Annually it would cost $840. You can have a pretty good holiday with $840. You can also buy many new things with $840. You can get an iPad, iPhone, new PC, new golf clubs and many more items. That means you get a bonus of $840 every year for each year that you have given up smoking. This means going on a holiday or buying a new gadget every year from the money you saved from quitting smoking. Sociability. Many countries are now enforcing no smoking zones in public areas like cinemas, shopping malls, government departments, aircon retail outlets, restaurants and others. Role model. It would be great to quit smoking, especially if you have young children. Kids at this age are very impressionable. If they see that their dad or uncle smoke, they would probably be inclined to try it. It would be hypocritical to tell someone not to smoke as it is bad for them when the advice is coming from a smoker. They will not believe what they hear and will do otherwise. It is recommended to not smoke in front of children. If you need to smoke, do so in a private environment with no fear of affecting anyone. Wrapping up: it is becoming very difficult for smokers to operate publicly. There is a stigma regarding smokers and it is catching on with the public. Many smokers are now ostracized from gatherings and invitations. Only close friends and families condone smokers in their presence. Besides that, it is just bad for you. So quit today. Thank you for watching my video.